What's up, fellas? Platon Terror here, and today we're going to talk a little bit about the difficulty. If I sound a little bit frustrated, excuse me, they interrupted me 5 times when I was making this video. This is the 6th time I'm making this video, so yeah. If I sound a little bit frustrated, just don't pay mind on this. Anyway, today I want to talk a little bit Warhammer 3 Legendary Very Hard Difficulty setting and compare it a little bit with Warhammer 2. So in Warhammer 2, now keep in mind I don't doomstack. I rarely doomstack in Warhammer 2, and I played a lot of Still Faith Overhaul in the second game because it made infantry viable by adding them buffs, or like they can have like a small buff to nearby units, small passives going on with most of the infantry. Back in Still Faith Overhaul, so that's why I prefer to play with Still Faith Overhaul rather than Warhammer than vanilla, because I had a lot of the roster available. Now on this third game, this is not the case. I don't think I'm gonna be playing with Still Faith Overhaul because they did such an amazing job. All factions, almost their entire roster is viable, right? Now, I'm not gonna talk about this because Legend of Total War is actually making tier lists about this, which units to use or not, so I'll leave that up to him. He knows what he's doing and talking about. We're just gonna focus on a little bit on that, and if you guys should try this legendary and very hard difficulty setting, alright? So what we see here, it's a Kislev army I could be using, trying to be on a cost-effective side, like having a Corsairs, not really good in the late game, but if you are mid-game, this will be a pretty deadly army in the right hands. I mean, if you want to make it a bit more deadly, you have two little Groms in there, and now this army is a menace. We're working towards AI. So yeah. Now, what would my army look like if I was on Warhammer 2? Yeah, we're talking about like stuff. My army would be looking like this. I would prefer to use melee heroes to tank and not infantry, and I will have my damage dealers here. 2 damage dealers in the form of spellcasters, missiles, and artillery, and these guys will try to hold the line, right? But in Warhammer 3 cases, you can actually have an army that's composed of like this. This is a pretty good army. The thing is, in Warhammer 3, man, the infantry has become a little bit more viable. So yeah, you can really afford to have some infantry in your army to hold the line if you really need to. But you can go back in Warhammer 2 style and keep using the armies that you were using. Now, as I said, I'm not doomstacking. This is perfect for me. I like creating armies that are working, If I think an army, some units can work very well in a team, which is so true in the Warhammer 3 case. Like, guys, almost all factions have a great roster. They use almost everything, right? Now, I don't want really just to watch Legends of Total War videos about it, but not mine. I'm here to talk a little bit about the difficulty and some things. Now, the issue comes in... let's go a little bit Grand Cathay, because the cover here is not that bad. This is what comes in mind. So, the Jet Lancers, right? This is the only difficulty, the only thing that still needs some tuning in Warhammer 3. As I said, melee infantry can be good. You can have like 6 to 7 units in there and you won't feel oppressed like you did in Warhammer 2 by bringing like melee infantry in the fight. As Empire, for example. Or Bretonia, that's a worse example. But yeah. Jade Lancers. Now, this is a heavy cavalry, shielded, which is good. They have 66 speed. Now, this is my issue. I think every heavy cavalry should have a speed between 70 to 75. And it depends on how heavy it is. Like, if they had 110 armor, they could be with 70 speed. If they have 100 armor, they can be on like 73 to 75 speed. And have the light cav on 80 to 85. Now, guys, I'm speaking on the single player's perspective. I enjoy the campaigns most. I don't like just fighting a battle and say, oh yeah, I fought a battle. It was a close one, holy shit. No, because I don't. In multiplayer battles, you don't care about your army. That's as simple as that. What would happen afterwards? So that's my thinking here. So you can have some cover, right? And the thing is, let me. No, we should not go in a battle. I just want to talk about it. So, one major change in Warhammer 3, if the cavalry is charging downhill, knocks down a unit that was moving up the hill, pretty much knocked them down from higher elevation to lower elevation, some of the entities will die from the fall damage, right? This only happens when you charge downhill, you knock down entities from higher hill to downhill. Unfortunately, those kills that those entities that died from the fall damage, it's not gonna contribute to the cavalry's kill count. You can see a great example. I will put a link in the video, in the descriptions of the video. In one of my videos that I used the Seeker to pretty much destroy an entire Khorne army, which I just call it in quotes afterwards, how this mechanic works. Now, the thing with horses is like after they charge, they will stuck between entities that fallen down. What I would love to do, like, you charge at the enemy, right? You knock them down, you call your cavalry back to charge again, right? On their way back, they might have to step over some knockdown infantry. Now, those knockdown infantry that are not dead will block your cavalry's way. What can be fixed a little bit for me in that regard is if your cavalry is stepping on alive enemy units, right? They should be dealing damage. They should not get stuck. They should step over them and just deal damage because a heavy horse, who knows how many kilos of weight, just step on something that is down. It should receive damage. It should not block the horse. Now, if the entities that have fallen down get up and caught some of your cavalrymen, if they dealt damage running away to the knockdown units, that would have been a good trade. Like, you could afford to lose 2 or 3 horsemen for dealing half of HP, almost half of HP damage from a good charge, right? So yeah, that's my only issue here. I think the cavalry needs some tuning. I think just by, making all cavalry at least 70 speed, considering they have more than 110 armor. With this cavalry around 100 armor or 90 armor being 75 and your light cav on 80 with 85 with a way better charge bonus. Man, the Jet Lancers, in my opinion, just need a little bit more charge bonus and this stats. Like, okay, like 55? I'm not sure about this. This is where I'm talking about things that I'm not really sure. But yeah, higher charge bonus, higher speed will help the entirety of all cavalry that are below 70. They need more speed, man, because with this speed, they'll stuck between the entities, and you're gonna have trouble with your cavalry, man. Like, they have their uses, but it's not so heavy as like this, having this 3 instead of cavalry. This 3 will just outshine the cavalry in big ways, right? So yeah, now, guys, as a conclusion, should you play legendary difficulty in this game if you didn't in the Warhammer 2 and you want to? Yes. The major thing that you need to be aware on this legendary and very hard difficulty setting in the third game is pretty much know what to do in the campaign. This is what it comes down to, doing correct moves in the campaign nowadays, and have a decent army composition. Like, yeah, you should expect, like, Prefer there, huh? This, no, this thing sucks. Peasant cavalry suck balls. Look at the rooster. I can use everything in this rooster and win my battle, right? Given that I'm building my rooster correctly, right? So that's a big part of the rooster. Like I excluded this and this from the rooster, right? This mostly because I can have an astromancer riding one of those. So I don't want this. I want him. He provides buffs to the army with traits and different stats. So yeah, pretty good stuff. And mind you, I mean, even Kislev has a lot of the rooster viable, right? You can use them. It depends on what you're fighting for, really. What you're about to fight. You know, if you know what you should expect to see, you should build an army to counter that. Anyways, so yeah, guys, do give it a try. I'm probably, if you haven't tried Legendary and very hard on the second game, you're gonna get your ass kicked in the first one or to three campaigns until you get a hang of it. The Legendary, you might have 10,000 hours, right, on normal. You are not ready for Legendary. If you haven't played Legendary, you are not gonna be ready. But if you spend like, okay, you are gonna have know exactly what to do, obviously, as for your faction, but you are not gonna be ready for what you're about to see in Legendary. Normal doesn't prepare you at all for for Legendary. The difference is vast. So yeah, guys, if you're playing very hard on the second game, you're gonna have way better time in Legendary very hard here. You can play though. If it's your first time on Legendary difficulty, guys, just play. You will gain the experience that you will need. Everything in the third game, it all comes down to the freaking campaign, nothing more. If you know how to build your army, you just need to know how to, perform better in the campaign. You should. It all comes down to the campaign, doing the correct moves and reacting to the situation as it is. Like, my mods on Warhammer 2 were aggressive AI and natural selection 2, which pretty much make all the factions perform like a major faction, and every faction wanted to expand and build an empire. This is where I was playing like this in Legendary very hard, and I needed to react to whatever is happening. Like, if you play as Kuron and you're dealing with the incursions from the Greenskins to level up your lord in the early game, and you see the Wooders just making a grand expansion, conquering half of Beltonia, you know that you were gonna have trouble soon, right? So you need to make some judgment calls on what you're gonna fight. This is what my Warhammer 2 campaigns look like. Pretty much, you didn't know what's gonna happen. You had to react to the situation, and that's pretty much the same for the third game. So yeah, guys, I hope you enjoyed this video. I'm gonna say goodbye now. I think I told most of the stuff. I'm gonna leave it to the other content creators to speak about army comps and all that. If it was on me, I will tune down the bonuses on very hard by 1 to 1.5% less. Like, just a little bit more down, and things will have been perfect. It's excellent, like this, but if you tune it a little bit more down, I think it will be the perfect, the ideal setting, because mostly in Legendary the enemy can get elite armies in like this in a matter of 5 to 6 turns, right? So you give the very hard bonus, difficulty bonus the AI gets, and these things become deadly. So yeah, it's not that oppressive here. It's not so frustrating. You can have tons of fun. I mean, if it wasn't for narrative campaign, man, which I think it's this campaign we have right now, you have like a very bad campaign. But yeah, I think this campaign is meant to be played, that we have now is meant to play on normal and hard battle difficulties. I'm pretty sure she probably didn't test that enough on higher difficulties. But Immortal Empires, as I said in the previous video I uploaded, guys, it's gonna be good. We're not gonna have a bad campaign, we're gonna have a huge ass campaign to play however we like, without something forcing our hands to do something, right? You know. So yeah, guys, I suggest you guys try this. If you wanted to play Legendary very hard on the second game, do play here. Ignore a little bit the campaign, learn how to survive as a faction if it's your first time, because you're gonna be dealing with a lot of stuff that in normal, hard and very hard you are not dealing with so much. Public order, way less money. The AI wanting you dead, all of them. So yeah. Anyway, boys, I hope you enjoyed it. I hope you're gonna try legendary difficulty and very hard. It's a joy for me because, as I tell you, I know pretty much what I need to do for the most part in this difficulty setting. Because I played a lot, I tell you, if you have a lot of hours in normal, you're not ready at all for legendary. You are not ready for what is about to transpire in that difficulty. You're gonna be like, oh shit. But you know, if you keep punching through, you know, the difficulty, trying to beat it, learning from your mistakes, being good on the campaign map, because this is what it comes down to again, guys. I'm gonna put emphasis on this. It comes down to the campaign. How good you are on that. So yeah, boys, I'll be off. Hope you enjoyed it. And really get to be like, oh, Platoon, I played a fun fucking legendary campaign. Holy shit, yeah, good guys, go for it. Go for it. I'll see you on legendary. See ya, boys. Have a beautiful day and a good one.